Hello everyone, welcome back to Virtual Lab Infra once again in my Windows Server training series. So today's session we are going to discuss a Windows Server roles installation. So basically what we are trying to do today's session. So far we have created two virtual machines. One is Windows Server 2016 and one is client PC. So my Windows Server 2060 I am going to make this as a primary domain controller, and then we'll create one or two client PC. One more client PC will create, and then we'll see how we can do domain join, how the domain join happens, and how these computers are communicating each other. So this is the diagram that that we are gonna actually manage our lab environment. So far now we have this and this PC. One is Windows DC Server 01, which is Windows Domain Controller Server primary server, and we have one client PC. So we're gonna give some static IP to these machines, and then we will see how these systems are getting communicated. So if you look at my screen, what I'm doing is I'm creating. So let's understand the flow architecture. So first server we are going to make primary domain controller. Second second system, which is our client PC, which is Windows 10 PC. So so domain controller server, which is our primary server, we are going to install all these roles like add DNS role, create active directory domain active directory domain. Then we'll configure DHCP scopes. Then we'll join the client machines to our domain controller machine. Then we'll install second domain controller later, maybe second or third session, and then we'll do configuration of AD replication. Like one DC or primary DC goes down, how the secondary domain controllers take over all the responsibility, like replications, authentication, etc. So as you can see, for my primary server, I'm going to install ADDNS DHCP roles. Before that, I'm going to configure IP address, and we are going to give 192.168 and 1.10. Similarly, when we will create later on few more servers, we'll use the same IP range and 1.11. Similarly, for other member server, we'll use 1.12. For client PCs, so client PC actually the IP will get assigned automatically from our primary server itself, because we are going to install DHCP, and DHCP is nothing but dynamic host configuration protocol. We'll discuss all this one by one topics, like what is DNS, what is DHCP. So let's get started with our lab. So first server we are going to configure a static IP. Then DNS IP will give. Then we'll give subnet mask 255.255.255.0, which is class C IP address, and then we'll create DHCP. From there, automatically my IP will get assigned to client machines. So let's get started. Let's get started. So this is our Windows Server 2022 server. Let's rename the server so that it will be easy to identify. So first, let's rename in the VMware itself. Just right click and rename. We are going to use Win DC01. So it's Windows Domain Controller Server 01 primary server. And for client PC, we're gonna give same name, client PC01. Let's rename this as well, client C01. So let's rename the server. To rename the server, you can click on Server Manager. Then go to local server. You can directly click on computer name. Okay, let it be. Click on change, and here you can give the same name, WinDC01. So far now we are going to provide the static IP. Okay, when you change your host name, it will ask you to reboot your server. So let's reboot it. Similarly, we'll change the host name for client PC. To change the client PC, you can click on change settings. Looks like server got rebooted. Let's log in. Let's change the host name for client PC as well. Type in ncpa.cpl to go to network settings. Click on properties. Then uncheck the IPv6. Double click on IPv4. Use following IP: 192.168.1.10. Subnet mask, let it be default. Default gateway we are going to give 192.168.1.1. DNS will give the same server IP, which is 192.168.1.10. As we are making this server as DNS server as well. So click on OK. IP config. So as you can see, I have given this IP. So now no longer we require this ISO image. So I'm going to inject it. Let's change the host name. Client C01. Once the host name is changed, your device will reboot. So let it reboot. Till then, we can start installing the roles. To install roles and features, click on Manage, Add roles and features. Click on Next. Next. Make sure your IP is correctly detecting. Next. Now we'll click on Active Directory Domain Services. Add features. Click on Next. 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 It's always good to check this restart option so that once your roles and features are installed, if it's required, your server will reboot automatically. Now click on Install. So installing these roles and features, it may take some time. So now we don't need our client PC, so let's turn it off. Once our roles and features are installed, we'll promote the server as a domain controller. So basically promoting the domain controller is nothing but we are making the server as a domain controller DC server. So let's turn this off so that your installation will be faster since we have a limited resource. So for now we have already changed the host name. Let's power it off. So roles and features, it's installing is started. Once this roles and features installed successfully, we will resume this video. To install roles and features, click on Manage, Add roles and features. Click on Next. Next. Make sure your IP is correctly detecting. Next. Now we'll click on Active Directory Domain Services. Add features. Click on Next. 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 It's always good to check this restart option so that once your roles and features are installed, if it's required, your server will reboot automatically. Now click on Install. So installing these roles and features, it may take some time. So now we don't need our client PC, so let's turn it off. Once our roles and features are installed, we'll promote the server as a domain controller. So basically promoting the domain controller is nothing but we are making the server as a domain controller DC server. So let's turn this off so that your installation will be faster since we have a limited resource. So for now we have already changed the host name. Let's power it off. So roles and features, it's installing is started. Once this roles and features installed successfully, we will resume this video. To install roles and features, click on Manage, Add roles and features. Click on Next. Next. Make sure your IP is correctly detecting. Next. Now we'll click on Active Directory Domain Services. Add features. Click on Next. 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 It's always good to check this restart option so that once your roles and features are installed, if it's required, your server will reboot automatically. Now click on Install. So installing these roles and features, it may take some time. So now we don't need our client PC, so let's turn it off. Once our roles and features are installed, we'll promote the server as a domain controller. So basically promoting the domain controller is nothing but we are making the server as a domain controller DC server. So let's turn this off so that your installation will be faster since we have a limited resource. So for now, we have already changed the host name. Let's power it off. So roles and features, it's installing is started. Once this roles and features installed successfully, we will resume this video. Okay, so there you go. The installation is completed. Click on close. Now, if you click on, if you can see, there is a yellow the notification icon. It says the configuration installation is completed successfully. Click on promote the server to domain controller. Once you click on this, now the deployment configuration page will get open. You have to click add a new forest. So basically, when you are creating a complete new domain, you have to click on add a new forest. If you already having a domain controller with domains, you need to click on add a domain controller to existing domain. If you want to create a RODC, like read only domain controllers, then you have to select the middle one. So basically, sometime in your organization there are multiple domain controllers, and you want to delegate a domain controller to maybe new employee or new IT people, so that they can only have a read only access. For that, you can use the second option. So in our case, we are going to create a fresh domain and fresh domain controller. So let's select the third option and give some domain name. You can give any domain name. I'm going to give virtual labinfra.com. Click on next. This is fine. You can select anything. Here you have to give a DSRM password. DSRM password is nothing but directory service and restore mode password. It's a very powerful password. Like whenever the domain controllers fails or there is any issue with this password, you can restore your domain controller or active and directory domain services. So let's give. Click on next. Here you can click on next. So now your domain name, which is NetBIOS domain name is virtual lab infra. Click on next. So your Active Directory domain services database, log files and sysvol files will be stored in this location, which is C Windows and NTDS. Click on next. Next. Now it's trying to verify your prerequisites of domain controller operation. It'll it'll validate all the pre-checks. Then you have to click on install. Once your server is promoted to domain controller, your server will sign out automatically and your domain will be ready with virtuallabinfra.com. So make sure guys, when you are creating a virtual machines, keep the settings as bridge network. Otherwise your systems and servers will not communicate each other. So I'm gonna select bridge network, click on OK. So as you can see, the server is getting sign out. Click on close. So it'll automatically reboot. So now as you can see, the domain name has been added now, and it says virtual lab infra slash administrator. Sign in with the actual password, the first time whatever password you set. Okay, let's quickly verify our domain. So now if you observe, now our system or the server from work group to change to domain, which is virtual lab infra. Now if you go to tools, you can see active directory users and computer. By default, your DNS get installed when you make the domain controller. Server is a domain controller installing ADDS. So let's check. So now our active directory has been installed, and Win DC01 is our primary domain controller, and it's reflecting here. As of now, if you click on domain controllers, you can see how many domain controller in your organization. So far, we have only one domain controller, so it is reflecting only one domain controllers. Now, if you see the computer objects is completely empty. Users by default there will be some built-in users. Built-in users are nothing but uh, default users and security groups. So administrator is nothing but a local account to your computer, local admin account, which has more powerful or highest privileged. So these are the domain admins, enterprise admin, and group policy owner and schema admins. These are the powerful built-in security group. Like if you go to domain admin, it says the delegated administrator of the domain. Like if somebody, any users or security groups are part of domain admins, you will be having a complete control over the domains. You can make any kind of changes. Similarly, enterprise administrator is a enterprise level delegation. Like certain changes, like if you are making certain changes in like AD Connect, like Azure AD Connect, you will be needing all this privileged security group, a part of your account. Similarly, schema admin and group policy create owner. So group policy create owner is something, if you are part of it, you can make any kind of changes on the group level, group policy level. So these are the built-in groups. Built-in groups are default groups. When you install your Active Directory domain and domain services, by default the security groups and users account will get created. If I talk about managed service accounts are something like, let's say you are an application, you are from application team, you want to run certain application or jobs continuously without any interruption. You can use managed service account mapped to particular server, so that your all the application without any interruption will be automatically be running. So domain admin have the full control over the resources inside a single domain. Like it has the permission, manages the user and groups, join computers to domain, manages servers, manage group policy, install any kind of softwares, and control domain controllers. Like example, if you are a domain, if your domain is virtual lab infra, maybe in your case it could be something like condoso.com, you can manage your Windows domain controller, your client machines. If you have any multiple servers, domain controller 0, 2, 3, you can manage all kind of computers, whatever it belongs to virtual lab infra domain. Similarly, we have enterprise admin. So enterprise admin controls all domain in the forest. So permissions like create new domains, delegate domains, manage forest configuration, manage trust relationship. Like in your company, let's say there are two domains or multiple domains are there. With this enterprise admin, you can manage them as well. It also has full control over domain. So when I say forest, what does it mean? So forest is nothing but, let's say my domain is virtual lab infra. Let's say my domain is virtual lab infra. We are going to create a subdomain, and it will be, let's say for sales team, it will be sales.virtuallabinfra.com. Or if it is a HR team, you can create a subdomain called hr.virtuallabinfra.com. So that is how the forest structures looks like. Similarly, we have a schema admin. So what exactly is schema admin? So a schema admin has the permission to modify AD schema, add new object classes, extend schema attributes. So basically, a schema defines what object exists in ID, such as like users, computers, groups, attributes. For example, like let's say if you have an application like Microsoft Exchange Server or SCCM server, Microsoft SCCM application, and you require a schema extension, only a schema admin can do this. So in the quick comparison, if I talk about, domain admin has the full control over domain, enterprise admin has full control over all the domain within forest, and schema admin has full control modifying AD schema. So if I, and most importantly, in the real world scenarios, or you can say organization best practice, enterprise admins are very few users. Like it's a, this access cannot be given to everyone. So enterprise admin access needs to be provided to few users. The schema and admins, the schema admins can be provided for temporarily membership only. Once your activity, if you are doing such activity, you can provide them schema admin. Once it is done, you can revoke the access. You can remove the account from this member. And domain admins are limited administrators. Like let's say if you have a server team, only server team should have domain admins privilege. So this is how in the real world best practice which is followed in organizations. So let's quickly see few features. Once you open the Active Directory users and computer, you will see the by default built-in groups, computer folders, domain controller. If you have multiple domain controller, you will see here. If you join any computer to domain, you will able to see here. Users, default users and security group will be available here. Like if you want to see more features of any object, you'll have to click on view, click on advanced feature. Now, like if you see, you can see more features like attribute, objects. So basically object by object, selecting object, you will able to know where exactly this particular schema admin or any account is located. Let's say I want to check where domain admin domain admin group is available. So let's double click on this, go to objects. So it's under user. So basically by advanced features, you will able to see attributes and more features of the object. You click on properties, click in click on attribute editors. So attribute editor, attributes are nothing but the background of information, object information. So backend information of the particular object. So attribute editor is a tab in Active Directory that allows administrator to view and modify all attributes. So as you can see, these are the attributes. These are called attributes. So administrator can manage or edit this kind of attribute when it any application hosted or any account is created and needs to be provided certain roles and access. Here in the attribute, you can make them modify and manage them. Like example, username, user password, or like logo name. Also, you can filter this, selecting show only attribute that have value. By selecting this, you will only able to see those attributes which has values. So this is how you can manage attributes and make you can edit them. Clicking on search, you can search any kind of users computers. If you're selecting users, contacts and group, you can select entire directory and you can select anything. And you can see the properties. In Active Directory, you can reset password, you can rename them. Okay, so you can create account here. You can create OUs, you can create security group, everything. So this symbol is to create a new user account. To create new user account, you can simply give first name, last name, full name, logo name. So basically, user logo name is nothing but the account that you will use to log in your PC or the application. First name, last name is a display name, and this is your domain. Once your account is get created, let's say this account is get created, you will see certain information like address, account. Account is nothing but user login ID. Profile, here you can set a home drive folders, we'll discuss in later. Like you can select any folder name and whatever path share you have given, you will give, user can access that share as a home drive. So home drive is nothing but your employee or your user can keep their important document for their personal use for organization purposes. Member of is a tab where you will add a security group or or any particular objects to your account by clicking on add. Let's say I want to make this guest account as a domain admin account. I want to give a most privileged access to this guest account for certain application or certain activity. So you will go ahead and type the security group and click OK and apply. The moment you will give this access, since this is a disabled account, so it's not happening, but this is how you will add the domain admin or any security group or accounts to make a part of the user. Let's cancel it. Let's simply, I'm going to create one account. To create an account, as I said, you need to click here. Let's say test user, test, last name user, login name is test user 1. Click next. Here I want to keep user cannot change password and password never expire. Once your account is created, test user, now you can check properties, object, everything. So when the new hiring happens, there will be a team called user access management team or anything, depends upon the organization. They will onboard the user, they will create account in Active Directory the way I have done just now. They will give all the details like address, then they will give in general, they will keep the description whether it's HR user or this user belongs to which department, office location, telephone number, email ID, organization, job title, department, company. Once all these fields are filled, you will able to see all these details. Along with that, if this user is belongs to, just for example, if this user is belongs to HR department or finance department or maybe marketing team, as per the role and department wise you can assign certain license, and certain maybe a security group might be there in the your organization that has certain licenses. You can add those kind of security groups and make once this user is hired or onboarded, he can use the same. So this is how you will create a user account. To create a security group, you can see also by icon you can identify whether it's a user account or a security group. So user account, you will see the icon is individual icon or a single icon. If there are two icons, that means it's a security group. If there is an arrow, if you see, that means the account is disabled state. This is how you will identify. So far we have created our Windows virtual server. Uh, we are going to consider this as a primary domain controller server, Windows DC01, and we had renamed our host name. Like we have changed the host name of our servers and client PC, and we have installed ADDS role and DNS role so far. So after installing this ADDS role and DNS role, you can see here in the tools. So Active Directory users and computers, then DNS we have. By default, group policy roles will get created, and we had changed the host name and we had provided the domain name as virtuallabinfra.com. That's all for the day, guys. We'll meet you in the next session with upcoming videos where we will join the client computer to our domain controller, and we'll see in Active Directory how exactly these computers uh, get added to computer objects. So if you simply type Active Directory, or from here also you can open active users and computers. So now you can see there are no objects, computer objects are available. Once we assign this client PC to our, once we join the client PC to our domain, we will able to see same thing in our computer objects here. So before that, what we are going to do in our next session, we will create a DHCP. So we will install the DHCP roles to our domain controller. We'll make this server as a DHCP server as well, and then we will configure our DHCP. We'll discuss what exactly DHCP, and then we'll see how the IP is getting assigned to client PCs or any member server automatically. So we'll install this role later, the next video. That's all for the day, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.